So, San Diego Studios actually just did something really cool. They already dropped some of the Season 2 Affinities, which makes you think that Season 2 is right around the corner. So, boys, we're going to be looking at some of these cards. I'm going to be telling you guys how to finish the second season really fast and kind of the tips to do it. I know that we're before it, and I know that it's not come out yet, but these are going to be things that you can take advantage of now, especially some of the investments on the cards that are going to help you out a lot. If you're wanting to do the exchange route, do it now. Do it before all of it comes out, and you are going to absolutely love it, because even if you don't want to end up doing it, you can make a lot of stubs, because as soon as some of these cards come out, people aren't going to want to play showdowns. They're going to just want to be able to pin subs and do all of the exchanges for that, and you're going to be able to make stubs off of those guys that are going to be making those 90 overall cards that are going for like 8K right now. They're going to make you a lot of stubs, whether or not you end up using them for affinity. Before we get into this video, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that sub button as well, turn on post noties. Let's get right into it. MLB This Show ended up dropping two cards, one for the NL Central and the other one for AL Central, so it looks like they're going after Centrals first. The first card is going to be a second half Johnny Damon. Now, that's pretty interesting. I don't necessarily think that Johnny Damon is going to be an absolute stud, but you never know. Sometimes they drop cards that you don't think are going to be really good, then they have great per 9s. As you can see here, it's going to be a 93 overall for the AL Central. Honestly, a 93, I could see them dropping up to 95 cards, because they did drop that Player of the Month Buxton, and he was a 95. So I could see them dropping up to 95s. I feel like we're going to get that 93 to 95 range. Maybe we'll get a couple 92s. Who knows? Maybe they'll throw a 96 in there, but I would be very surprised to drop a 96 in there. Johnny Damon for the Royals could be someone that's pretty cool. The big thing and the big takeaway here that's really makes sense to me is the fact that these are probably... Stage 2 is definitely not going to be current players. I don't think it's going to be current players. I think it's going to be flash packs, kind of like some of the stage affinities were last year. But I think Johnny Damon is going to be an interesting pick. We'll see how that goes. The next guy that we're getting here is we're getting Johnny Bench. Now, Johnny Bench is a 94. Like I said, I could see them going up to 95. I think that Johnny Bench is going to be someone that's a sleeper. Usually, he has a really good glove in a cannon, and he's going to hit pretty well versus lefties. If I remember his card last year, yes, he had a lot of pop, but he wasn't necessarily the greatest versus righties, and I like his swing. He has a good swing, but I definitely think that this will be one of the better catchers in the game. I'll see him. I don't really like Jorge Posada, so maybe I'll pick up a guy like Johnny Bench. But he looks pretty good. Definitely someone that will probably rival the Salvador Perez and the Adley Rutschman that everybody's using. But some of these cards, these aren't huge reveals yet, but these are the first reveals we're going to get, which are the Centrals. So we'll see how this goes. I genuinely think that this is going to be a good card, and I think both these cards are definitely going to be able to make it. Obviously, we don't see attributes yet, but I can see both of them having pretty opposite splits, and we're kind of just going to have to see how this one goes. As far as finishing the second season as fast as possible, what we're going to be talking about today is we're simply going to be talking about how I get showdowns done really fast. I have a full showdown tutorial, so I'm going to link it right now. But the best way to get these team affinities done is not by exchanging. Do not waste the stubs. Don't do it. You're going to instantly regret it by just not playing the games. So I highly recommend just going through the showdowns. There's going to be a brand new showdown coming out, and we'll see how that goes. But obviously we have Team Affinity, but it should be Team Affinity Season 2. If you remember last year, what I'm going to say in my big strategy of finishing Team Affinities really fast is the thing that I always do is I always take till 2 strikes during showdown. It wears down the pitcher. It's going to make you better, and make sure you guys are, whenever you're drafting squads, you draft the best hitters possible. And each time that you actually get to the showdown, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going to your cards. You're going to be putting in the best hitters, because it doesn't matter what position they are, because you're not going to be playing defense. So make sure you put in the best hitters whenever you're going in there. If you have a guy like Donovan or Victor Caratini that's never going to play the field, you're going to end up putting in George Springer. For this guy, it's going to be out of position, not going to matter. Just make sure that you do all the little simple things. Make sure you draft power, and whenever we know the second inning bosses, make sure that you're drafting for that guy. For example, if you're facing a lefty, make sure you're drafting a lot of guys that can hit lefties pretty well. Guys like Mondesi, guys like Willie Adames, some of these righties that are lefty killers. But I do like to have a little bit of a balance, so make sure that you don't just absolutely load on on one guy, because you could face a lefty in a showdown and you could absolutely shove, and all you have are Trent Grishams and Yordan Alvarez's in your lineup, and guys like that are good, but they're really kind of fall off versus lefties. Honestly, Yordan doesn't, but Trent Grisham does, so make sure that you guys are just drafting accordingly. As far as perks go, the big thing that I'm going to go with here is, again, I like to go with 2-strike stuff, so what I'm going to be doing is a lot of down but not out, eagle eye, and kind of just 2-strike, ice water in my veins. That type of perk is really good too, but those type of ones are really, really good. So make sure that whatever you're doing, if you're not doing my strategy, make sure you're drafting perks to where they will help you a lot. If you're one of those guys who likes to swing first pitch, make sure that you get some of those perks that are going to help you whenever you swing first pitch and some of the things like that. Just make sure that you guys are getting perks. Perks are huge, and make sure that you're locking in ones that are going to help you. You don't necessarily need the ones for pitching. I don't really recommend doing any of that, but just make sure that you're doing it nice and simple, nice and smart. These things are going to be really, really helpful for you and are going to help you out in the future. As far as other things you can do to finish some of these showdowns is, I would recommend doing some of the affinities. I don't really like doing the conquest. Now, I know a lot of guys like to do the conquests, but I don't really think that the conquest is going to help you. But why do a conquest for the central affinity or whatever you're going to do whenever you could get a showdown or two done in the same amount of time? That's just kind of my outlook on it. But if you want to get some of these free packs, there are going to be free packs in it, then you could end up doing the conquest. And if that's really just something you like to do, then I recommend doing the conquest a little bit. I would rather do the showdown personally, because you're just going to get a lot more bang for your buck as far as time and affinity packs. As far as exchanging players, we're going to go over it a little bit. I know I said not to do it, but if you're going to do it, make sure that you do it smart. So that's why I'm going to show you guys the best way to end up doing it. If you end up going to ALE, stuff like that, and you want to go exchange some of these cards, one of the things that I recommend doing is, if you're doing it, make sure that you're running silvers. Silvers 79s are usually the best ways to go. If you're going to buy cards, that's usually the best thing to do. Make sure you're not getting a toss down card, because they're going to spell much, and make sure you're putting buy orders in for each one of these guys, because you're not going to want to make it to where these guys are just worth way too much and you're not going to want them. Make sure that you're getting them for a bang for your buck. If you're going to go diamonds, go for some of those diamonds that are really cheap, such as the brand new Tops Now cards, not the old ones, and some of the lower live series guys aren't going for an absolute ton. This Josh Donaldson will be pretty good too, because he's going for about 11K right now. One way, if you guys also want to make stubs, one way to do it would be to buy a lot of these cards that are high overall right now, and then sell them whenever the Season 2 comes out, because everybody's going to be buying them like crazy. The prices are going to go up for a lot of these cards, so that's another big way to make stubs off of it that I'll talk about in my stubs video on Friday. But make sure that you guys are just taking advantage of all the little things. Again, don't do the exchanges, all the little things. Make sure you're doing the moments, make sure you're doing showdowns, and I want to know what you guys think about these brand new diamonds, these brand new cards that are just announced by SDS. I want to know what you guys want to see from the Stage 2 Affinity, some of the cards you want, some of the guys that you think are going to be really good. Are any of these guys going to make your team, stuff like that? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys made it to the end of the video, make sure to drop a like, drop a sub, all that stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.